Good morning to everyone. Okay, we'll see the remaining questions here. Last class almost 50 questions we have covered related to that 16th group, oxygen family. Remaining questions are from 51 onwards. First question here. Which of the following is not tetrahedral in shape? If you see ammonium, here the hybridization is sp3 hybridization. So no lone pair on the nitrogen. So perfect tetrahedral in geometry. Silicon also 4 valence electrons, silicon tetrachloride, here also sp3 hybridization, a perfect tetrahedral in geometry. Sulfur tetrafluoride, in case of sulfur tetrafluoride we have one lone pair, and apart from that here 4 fluorines we can attach like this. And here the hybridization of SF4 is sp3d hybridization. sp3d hybridization with one lone pair means it is a seesaw geometry. Anyhow, sulfate again is a perfect tetrahedral sp3 hybridization. So which is not tetrahedral means SF4. It has a seesaw geometry hybridized. This also you should remember, extra point. Anyhow, answer is it is not a tetrahedral. But the point you should remember, what is the geometry of SF4 and what is the hybridization? Sometimes they may ask you the question in reverse manner. So what is the hybridization of SF4? What is the geometry? How many lone pairs are there? Is the structure is planar or non-planar? This type of questions. Again, seesaw geometry means one lone pair occupies the equatorial position in sp3d hybridization. Second one, which of the following are peroxy acids? Peroxo or peroxy acids or peracids of sulfur. We know that we have two, permonosulfuric acid or peroxidisulfuric acid, that is H2SO5, H2S2O8. These two are the peroxy acids. In the second option, only first one is a peroxy. Here this is a peroxy and here nothing is there. So first one is, both are having peroxides. Next, hot concentrated sulfuric acid acts as a moderately oxidizing agent. It oxidizes both metals and non-metals. Which one of the following element is oxidized by concentrated sulfuric acid into two gaseous products? Anyhow, finally, two gaseous products. Means we know that H2SO4 on oxidation, first it will it can act as the oxidizing agent, means it will undergo reduction. So it evolves sulfur dioxide itself. This reaction indicates the oxidizing behavior of H2SO4. Next, copper. If you oxidize H2SO4 with copper, you will get copper sulfate, that is a solid. And sulfur can give sulfur dioxide, only one gas. And carbon can be oxidized to carbon dioxide. And zinc, again it can give zinc sulfate. But which case we will get here carbon dioxide, and from sulfuric acid we will get sulfur dioxide. So when you treat the carbon with the sulfuric acid, we will get both the case, in this case, two gaseous products. The remaining case we will get only one gaseous product, that is a sulfur dioxide. So here option C means third option. The next, a sulfate of metal A on heating evolves two gases B and C, and oxide D, and gas B turns potassium dichromate paper green, while gas C forms a trimer in which there is no SS bond. Compound D with HCl forms a Lewis acid E, which exists as a dimer, and compounds A, B, C, D here. So you have to identify all these together. See first, metal sulfate. Options, if you see ferrous sulfate, ferrous sulfide, or ferrous sulfide and aluminum sulfate. So which can give two gases? We know that here the reaction we should know. Ferrous sulfate, this on heating can produce ferric oxide and sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So two gases, B and C, and an oxide. Here Fe2O3 is oxide, solid. And what is the sulfur dioxide? One is the sulfur trioxide. What is the sulfur dioxide? What is the sulfur trioxide? Further here, gas B turns potassium dichromate paper green. Means potassium dichromate is oxidizing agent. So one of these two gas should act as a reducing agent. What is the reducing agent? Sulfur dioxide can act as a reducing agent. So, and the gas B should be the sulfur dioxide and gas C should be the sulfur trioxide. Next, gas C forms a trimer. We know that SO3 can form the gamma form, S3O9 and SO3 cyclic trimer. There is no SS bond. Compound D with HCl, this ferric oxide, if you treat with HCl, you will get ferric chloride, which will form ferric chloride. This ferric chloride generally exists as a dimer. It will exist as Fe2Cl6. So now this is a story about that question. According to this, the option should be A. Ferrous sulfate, if we heat it, you will get sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide and ferric oxide. And this ferric oxide, if you treat with HCl, you will get ferric chloride. Next, the structure of O3 and N3 minus. We know that ozone structure, it is the angular structure, and N3 minus nitride structure. We can write the nitride structure like this. We have N minus. It has a lone pair and has a lone pair. It has two lone pairs. Four, five, six, and here we have the positive charge, 4 bonds, and here 5 negative charge. So here N3 minus structure is a linear structure. All our sp hybridization we will get a linear. So here first one is not linear and second one is linear. With linear bent, both are bent, and both are linear, bent and linear. So this should be the option. So ozone is the bent or angular or V shape we can say, and this is a linear shape. Next, 56. Which statement regarding sulfuric acid is incorrect? It is responsible charring of sugar due to its dehydrating ends. This is correct. It is obtained in contact process by hydrolysis of oleum. Yes, this is also correct. The value of Ka2 acid dissociation constant for H2SO4 is greater than its Ka1 values. What are the Ka1, Ka2 here? H2SO4 is a dibasic acid, means it can undergo dissociation in 2 steps. It will form HSO4 minus and H plus. And first dissociation constant, this is Ka1. Again this HSO4 minus further dissociate as SO4 2 minus and release H plus. In this case the acid dissociation constant Ka. But here always the Ka1 value is always greater than to Ka2. But they give here Ka2 value is greater than Ka1. This is not correct. Actually here Ka1 is greater than Ka2. So H2SO4 is a stronger acid than HSO4 minus. This is not correct statement. It consists of 2 d-pi p-pi bonds and sulfur atom is sp3 hybridized really. Anyhow, sulfuric acid, the structure we have double bond O, double bond. So oxygen p orbital and sulfur d orbital, and pi bond can be formed due to the p and d. So p pi d pi, and this also similarly d orbital and p orbital, they can form p pi d pi bonds. So fourth one is also correct, only the third one is the incorrect statement. Which statement regarding ozone is incorrect? Ozone is a powerful oxidizing agent. Yes, it can give nascent oxygen very easily. Formation of ozone from oxygen is endothermic. Yes, this already we have discussed. And ozone molecule is paramagnetic. Ozone is not a paramagnetic, this is a diamagnetic. O3 is estimated by potassium iodide in presence of borate buffer followed by the titration with hypo. This is kind of iodometric titration. So this is also correct. Only option 3 is not correct here. So option 3. So the remaining points also you should keep in mind. How to estimate the ozone. Sometimes they may ask the question. Here potassium iodide in presence of borate buffer. This is aqueous. Here potassium iodide we have to take aqueous potassium iodide. But one more point you should remember, same question here. Ozone if you treat with alkaline potassium iodide. You take potassium iodide alkaline. Here you will get the product potassium iodide. KiO3, but if you take excess you may get KiO4 periodate. And this reaction also very important. Here potassium iodide in presence of aqueous medium and borate buffer. But in this case potassium iodide in alkaline sodium hydroxide or basic medium, you will get potassium iodide. You should remember this reaction. Which gas can be dried by concentrated H2SO4? We know that concentrated H2SO4 can act as a dehydrating agent. It can absorb moisture or water from the substances. Here which gas can be dried? Here ammonia and H2SO4. Here acid base reaction can take place. Phosphine again acid base reaction. H2S also. Yesterday we discussed that it can oxidize H2S to sulfur. But sulfur dioxide, there is no reaction between sulfur dioxide and concentrated sulfuric acid. So we can dry the sulfur dioxide. So this technique we will use in the preparation of sulfuric acid in contact process. In a contact process, what is the first step? Some sulfides, iron sulfide or any sulfur, we will heat in presence of oxygen and then we will get sulfur dioxide. But apart from the sulfur dioxide, it may contain some impurities. So we will wash out those impurities, then we will get a pure form of sulfur dioxide. And this pure form of sulfur dioxide may contain moisture. We will get moisture sulfur dioxide. Actually, in the next step, we have to convert the sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide by using the catalyst vanadium pentoxide. That is the second step, exothermic reaction. So before that, we have to remove the moisture from the sulfur dioxide. So then we will pass this moistured sulfur dioxide to the concentrated sulfuric acid. Then we can dry it. We will get a dry form of SO2. So to remove this unwanted impurities, this moistured sulfur dioxide can be dried. This story for in the board examination level, we have tried all these points in case of contact process preparation. Here option 4, sulfur dioxide can be dried. Generally the gas which cannot be reacted with H2SO4 can be dried here. Next, oxygen gas is not evolved, means is a kind of preparation of oxygen. Potassium permanganate, we know that the salts can produce when they undergo decomposition, mostly potassium permanganate, it can give the oxygen. Sodium peroxide also can give the oxygen, potassium nitrate also can give. But ammonium nitrate, it cannot give. Why? Because if we treat ammonium nitrate, heat treatment and thermal decomposition, we will get nitrous oxide plus water. So here no oxygen liberation, we will get nitrous oxide. The remaining cases we will get. Again you should remember, sometimes they will ask the question potassium permanganate hot heat treatment, what it will produce? Oxygen directly. Next, when concentrated sulfuric acid was treated with this potassium ferrocyanide, carbon monoxide gas was evolved. By mistake, somebody used dilute H2SO4 instead of concentrated H2SO4. Then the gas evolved was. This is a chemical reaction. And both reactions, if you see the concentrated sulfuric acid, will get carbon monoxide, but if you use the diluted, will get HCl. hydrogen cyanide is a product. So we have taken this in some other reactions of sulfuric acid. There we have taken when this potassium ferrocyanide can give carbon monoxide with concentrated, and with diluted it can give HCl. Just you can remember this reaction. Next, 61, oxygen. If you treat with platinum hexafluoride, it can get one complex, and here choose the correct option. These are the options related to the oxygen. It is a kind of the salt. So here oxygen present in cationic position. So oxygen will be present here like O2 plus. So crisscross here valency 1 and this O2 1. So we have the cation oxygen in positive. O2 plus cation. Then you see the options O2 plus, option C is there, option D is there. And O2 plus, how many electrons are there in O2 plus? We have 15 electrons. 15 electrons means it is a paramagnetic in nature. So oxygen is O2 plus and paramagnetic. So option should be D here. Next, potassium ferrocyanide reacts with ozone to give. Here ferrocyanide means iron oxidation state. In this complex it is plus 2. Here K4, cyanide is minus, potassium is plus. Plus 4 minus 6, minus 2. So iron should get plus 2 oxidation state. We know that in presence of oxygen, oxygen is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes ferrous salts to ferric salt. You will get ferrous to ferric. This can be converted into in this complex. Here iron oxidation state is plus 3. Here 3 and minus 6. So plus. So it should convert ferrous salts to ferric salt. Just oxidation reaction. The correct order of relative rate of hydrolysis. We know that SF6 is a stable molecule, and top to bottom hydrolysis increases fluorides, sulfur hexafluoride, selenium hexafluoride and tellurium hexafluoride. And tellurium hexafluoride easily can undergo hydrolysis over the selenium and over sulfur. Because top to bottom stability decreases, so rate of hydrolysis increases. Next, 64, the temporary bleaching property is shown by. Last class we have discussed that sulfur dioxide reducing nature, temporary bleaching.
Yes, sir.
So your next question, in SO3 2 minus, this is a sulfite anion, and we have the options related to their properties. We have d pi p pi bond between sulfur and oxygen, and that is delocalized. Bonds between sulfur and oxygen are equivalent, and there is sp3 hybridized sulfur atom, and all of the facts given about. Let us see the structure of this sulfide anion is like this. So here oxygen is a p orbital and sulfur d orbital. So there is a bond. Pi bond is due to the d pi p pi bond. So hence this is correct. Second, bonds between sulfur and oxygen are equivalent. Here one of the oxygen double bond, the remaining two are single bond. We cannot say that this oxygen only having double bond. So among these three, anyone may have the double bond. Why? Because these negative, it can undergo delocalization. This pi electron may shift here, then this oxygen will get double bond, or else if this negative charge undergo delocalization, then this oxygen will get double bond. Means all these three oxygens are equivalent in nature only. You cannot differentiate it, you cannot distinguish. All the three oxygens around the sulfur are equivalent with one pi bond with two negative charge. So all are equivalent. And there is a sp3 hybridized sulfur atom. What is the hybridization of sulfur here? sp3 hybridization. So sulfur with sp3 hybridization. So all of the given statements are correct. So option D. Next, a bottle completely filled with concentrated sulfuric acid is left unstopped for several days, and we observe spontaneous overflow of acid. It is due to. Just you take one bottle, if you fill with some sulfuric acid completely till the end, till the top, completely filled with concentrated H2SO4. And now there is no stop here, there is no stop at here, and we have removed the cap. Then after some days, for several days, you can see that the spontaneous overflow of acid, the acid can overflow. Why? We know that concentrated sulfuric acid is a strong dehydrating and hygroscopic, means dehydrating nothing but here hygroscopic in nature, H2SO4. It can absorb the moisture. So when it absorbs moisture from atmosphere, ultimately the volume will increase, then the acid can overflow. Why it can overflow means due to the hygroscopic nature of H2SO4. It is not due to the dehydration nature. Dehydration means you should remove. Anyhow, it has a property dehydrating agent, but in this particular case, that is due to the absorption of moisture from atmosphere. That process we can call hygroscopic nature. So option B is correct. Next, 67. Sulfuric acid is added to a piece of charcoal. Then what happens? And sulfuric acid, piece of charcoal, nothing but carbon. When you add sulfuric acid to the water, we know that we will get both the gases. I think this question one of the model repeated. We will get sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide. Next, 68. Oxalic acid on heating with concentrated sulfuric acid produces. What happens if we treat with oxalic acid? H2C2O4 with a concentrated sulfuric acid. Concentrated sulfuric acid is a strong dehydrating agent, so it removes the water from the oxalic acid. So what you do, just you take the water out from this, and if you remove the water, what left? 2 carbons and 3 oxygens. And 2 carbons, 3 oxygens you can write as one is a carbon monoxide and one is carbon dioxide. And you will get these are the products. First, concentrated sulfuric acid dehydrating agent, so you remove the water from the oxalic acid, then you distribute the remaining carbons with oxygen. So the option should be the B option, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, water. And here one more point also you should remember, instead of oxalic acid, if we take formic acid, this is also very important. Formic acid, if we treat with concentrated sulfuric acid, same, again you take the water out from this. If you remove the water, what left? 1 carbon, 1 oxygen. So here in this case the product is carbon monoxide, water. Similarly, sugar, that is called charring of sugar, C12, H22O11. Again, if you use concentrated sulfuric acid here, first you have to remove the water. Total 22 hydrogens are there, so it can give 11 water molecules. So if you remove total water here, what left? Only carbon left. So you will get only carbon. So hence this reaction is called charring of carbon. It is a charring of carbon. So these 3 reactions are very important with the dehydrating behavior of concentrated sulfuric acid. So here they give oxalic acid, but remaining also you should remember. 69. When an article is bleached by sulfur dioxide, it loses its color. The color can be restored by. We know that sulfur dioxide can act as a temporary bleaching agent only. So first, any colored matter, if we treat with, due to the reducing behavior, means with the hydrogen, it will convert into the D color. But again the color can be regained when it exposed to the atmospheric air. Why? Because in atmospheric air we have the oxygen, so it can undergo, this is the reduction process. So here to here reduction process. So to get back, we have to go back to the reaction, means oxidation. So this decolorized matter again will expose to the atmospheric air and it will oxidize and to regain the color. So here, due to the exposure to air, you will get color. That is why sulfur dioxide we can call a temporary bleach. The next question here, Na2S2O3. This is a hypo. This is used in the photography for fixing the negative. It removes the silver bromide by. Generally, hypo solution will use in the photography. In the photography, we will use the only that films like this. In the older days, we use it. And this film will be coated by the initially silver bromide. And the silver bromide to coat chestar actually. And the silver bromide, when exposed to the light, the light ki expose ayinappudu, and the silver bromide will be converted into the silver, decompose అయిపోతుంది. So whatever the portion exposed to the sunlight, that part can be decomposed into the, or it will be converted into the silver. A remaining part the remaining part will be present as AgBr. So in photography lo em chestaru, when this unexposed part we have to remove by dissolving into this hypo solution. Then em chestaru, hypo solution lo dissolve chesesi unexposed part silver bromide ni remove chestaru. So whatever is their exposed part, that can give the negative. That negative ni further develop cheseste you will get the picture. But in this case, they are asking the question, Na2S2O3 is used in the photography for fixing the negative. It removes the silver bromide. Means Na2S2O3, AgBr can be soluble in Na2S2O3. Then it will form one complex. What complex means? This is the complex. The reaction here, this is very, very important reaction. Na2S2O3, if we treat with silver bromide, then AgBr, actually this is a yellow color precipitate. It can be dissolved in Na2S2O3. This is a precipitate complex. It will form sodium argentothiosulfate. E complex will form this. And this is called sodium argentothiosulfate. So here the oxidation state of silver is +1, and they'll ask the coordination number. This is a bivalent. Coordination number is 4. In coordination chemistry we will discuss this one. And oxidation state of silver is +1. Just you remember these points. And the compound name sodium argentothiosulfate. It is a soluble complex. About the silver bromide will be dissolved. There is the unexposed part. Is silver bromide ఇది unexposed. మనం when we take the picture, ఫోటోస్ ఎప్పుడైతే ఫిలిం తో యూజ్ చేసినప్పుడు పిక్చర్ అనేది సన్లైట్ కి ఎక్స్పోజ్ అయినప్పుడు దట్ విల్ డికంపోజ్ అయిపోతుంది. సో అన్ఎక్స్పోజ్డ్ పార్ట్ ఏదైతుందో దాన్ని రిమూవ్ చేయడానికి హైపోలో వాళ్ళు డెవలప్ చేస్తారు. సో హియర్ ఫస్ట్ ఆప్షన్ జస్ట్ యు రిమెంబర్ 72 direct oil of vitriol. We know that H2SO4 is called oil of vitriol. Why? Because to prepare various types of vitriols, we will use sulfuric acid, and also it is a king of chemical. What types of vitriols? We have the blue vitriol, and we have the green vitriol, and we have white vitriol. What is the blue vitriol? Copper sulfate.
Sir, what is vitriols and ఎందుకంటారు sir?
And green vitriol, what is the green vitriol? Ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate, 7H2O is called green vitriol, and white vitriol another zinc sulfate, 7H2. This is the white vitriol. So for the preparation of these vitriols, we will use H2SO4. This is oil of vitriol or king of chemical. Next, which has the maximum pKa value. Here Ka is the acid dissociation constant. We know that acid dissociation constant is directly proportional to the acidity, but pKa is inversely proportional. Here Ka is directly proportional to acidity. This we know, but pKa is inversely proportional to the acidity. You don't reverse one. Here which has the maximum pKa. Maximum pKa ante minimum K. Minimum K ante less acidic. In hydrides, so 16th group hydrides, top to bottom acidic strength increases. So maximum pK and less acidic. Less acidic enti water to tellurium, the acidic strength increases. ఇది గుర్తు మెయిన్ ద కాన్సంట్రేషన్ ఎనీ హౌ acidic strength, basic strength you can identify very easily. If they ask in terms of Ka values or pKa values or Kb values sometimes, or they may ask you sometimes with respect to pKb values. So you have to identify here the relation between the Ka acidity, Kb acidity and pKa pKb. Our relations మనకు ఐడియా ఉండాలి, అది ఇంపార్టెంట్. Next, the bond angle in H2S, again we know that H2S there is no hybridization, only water can undergo hybridization, so its angle is almost 104 for water, but the rest of the hydrides, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, they are close to the 90. So ikkada manakunna 4 options lo we have only one option with 92. So H2S bond angle is 92. Why? Because no hybridization here. So only valency orbitals, only 3 p orbitals which are mutually perpendicular to each other, they can involve in bond formation. 3 mutual perpendicular kabatti almost 90-degree angle, so close to 90. Some repulsions valla you may get more than 90, 91, 92 or 93 in case of sulfur, selenium and tellurium. Which of the following compound and decomposition does not produce oxygen? I think this question same. Ammonium dichromate. Previously other options are there, but here options are different. Ammonium dichromate, if we heat it, in this case we'll get ammonia, nitrogen, not ammonia. Okay. So ammonium dichromate, for the preparation of nitrogen we will use here nitrogen you will get, and chromium oxide, a green color residue here, plus water. And very important, the decomposition reaction of ammonium dichromate also very important. What we will get it? Nitrogen gas, one green color residue, chromium oxide and water. And mercuric oxide, we know that silver and mercuric, these oxides are unstable in nature, they can easily undergo thermal decomposition, they releases the oxygen. And potassium permanganate, just now we have discussed that it will release oxygen. Potassium chlorate also, if we treat with the manganese dioxide catalyst, you will get oxygen plus KCl. So in these 3 cases you will get oxygen, but in first case you will get nitrogen instead of oxygen. These are some single correct, those are the questions. Now we will see some integer type questions, some basic idea about integer questions. First question here, number of sulfur oxygen sulfur bonds in S3O9 or X and Y respectively, then what is X plus Y? I think this type of question already we have seen, but here integer type. In SS bonds is X. We know that in S3O9 there is no SS bond, so 0, and we have 3 SOS bonds in S3O9, so total X plus Y 3. Mostly the integer questions and single correct answer questions, they will repeat, but the mode of question is different. Here we have to calculate the integer value, and there we have checked the options. Out of the 4 options, correct option. There are 2 types of sulfurs with a different oxidation state in thiosulfate ion. Difference in oxidation state. What is the thiosulfate? S2O3 2 minus is the thiosulfate. Then different here 2 sulfur, they are having different oxidation states. You see the structure of this thiosulfate. And this is the thiosulfate structure. Now oxidation state. This sulfur is having -2 oxidation state, and this middle sulfur, it has the oxidation state +6. So now difference in oxidation states. What is the difference? +6 minus 2. So you will get 8. So here it is not plus 4. Why? Because this is minus 2 plus 6. In between the difference is 8. If they ask sum of oxidation state means plus 4. Difference in oxidation state means plus 8. So here different, this point is very important. Difference in oxidation state and sum of the oxidation states ante plus 4. Average oxidation state ante plus 2. One more question. If they ask what is the average oxidation state ante 4 by 2 out. Only one question we can ade answer ni adi dippi adugutu untaru. Next, how many of the following have underlined atoms in different oxidation states? First, Na2S2O3. Just now we have discussed, that is a thiosulfate. Sodium thiosulfate lo 2 sulfurs. Okatemo -6, okatemo +6. So first one it has. And Na2S4O6. This is a tetrathionate. Indulo manaki sulfur structures ela untayi. And this is the structure of this one. Here, this sulfur plus 5 oxidation state, and this middle sulfur, they are having 0 oxidation states. Again, anyhow, 2 sulfur, they are having different oxidation states. We can take this one also. H2SO5. Here, what is the underlying atom? Oxygen is the underlying atom. This is a peroxymonosulfuric acid. The structure is we have one oxygen peroxide linkage, 2 oxygens in peroxide linkages. So here oxygen -1, but this oxygen is having -2. So out of 5 oxygens, 2 oxygens are having different oxidation states. So this also we can consider. And H2S2O8. Here sulfur. What is the structure of H2S2O8? We have one peroxide linkage. Again, here sulfur +6 and this sulfur also +6. So both sulfurs are having same type of oxidation state only. So we cannot consider this. H2S2O7, pyrosulfuric acid. Same structure, but here only one oxygen in between. Again, the oxidation state same, both the case +6. Again, it has only one type of oxidation state. H2SO3, sulfurous acid. In case of sulfurous acid, we have only one sulfur atom. And here they are asking about oxygen, but oxygen, 2 oxygen they are having here -2, and this is also -2. Same type of oxidation states, no change. This is also not. H2O2, again peroxide. What is the structure of peroxide? It is an open book structure. Let us take here 2 oxygens, they are having -1. See here, but both oxygens are having same oxidation state only, -1. They are not different. Again, you cannot consider this. Means only first 3 the underlying atoms are having different oxidation states. So the answer should be 3 here. Next, 79. How many of the following have peroxy linkages? H2S2O3, just now we have seen there is no peroxide linkage. We have sulfur linkage. If they ask how many are having SS linkage, then in that case this may be the correct. H2S2O8, just now we have seen that it has one peroxide linkage. H2SO5 also it has one peroxide linkage. And CrO5, it is a butterfly structure. Here we have 4 oxygens, means we have 2 peroxide linkages. Sometimes they may ask the question about this chromium peroxide, how many peroxide linkages are there? 2 peroxide linkages. And how many oxygens are in peroxide linkage? 4 oxygens in peroxide linkage. So this is also barium peroxide. Anyhow, it is a peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide, again peroxide. So now total 5 compounds, so they are having peroxide linkage. Except the first one, the remaining they are having peroxide linkage. Next, 80th, minimum oxidation state shown by sulfur in its compound.
Maximum, sir.
Sorry,
Maximum, sir.
Maximum oxidation state shown by sulfur. We know that group oxidation state +6. That is a maximum oxidation state. Sulfur dioxide reduces MnO4 minus to Mn2 plus. Number of electrons involved in the reduction of MnO4 minus Mn2 plus. What is the change? MnO4 minus to Mn2 plus. Change in oxidation state can give the change in number of electrons. Here manganese plus 7 oxidation state to plus 2 oxidation state. So here it gains 5 electrons. So number of electrons involved is 5. It will gain 5 electrons. So 5. Instead of number of electrons involved, if they ask oxidation state change, again the answer is the same. Oxidation state change is 5. And if they ask n factor, that is also same 5. Either in a good or next, consider the following equation. H2S2O7, if you hydrolyze it, you will get compound A, and compound A is allowed to react with the P2O5, you will get compound B. How many D pi P pi bonds are present in compound B? First of all, H2S2O7. This is a oleum. If you hydrolyze oleum, we will get sulfuric acid. In contact process, actually, in the final step, we will get the oleum. That oleum, if you hydrolyze it, we will get sulfuric acid in the desired concentration. And that sulfuric acid, if we treat with P2O5, what is a P2O5? It is a strong dehydrating agent. Then it removes the water. If we remove the water from H2SO4, what left? Sulfur trioxide. So here H2SO4 is a compound A, sulfuric acid, and is allowed to react with P2O5. We are getting compound B. Means sulfur trioxide is a compound B. We have to calculate how many D pi P pi. We know that in sulfur trioxide, 2 P pi D pi bonds and 1 is the P pi. రెండేమో P pi D pi bonds ఉంటాయి, ఒకటేమో P pi bond. This already we have discussed in the last class. So here answer should be 2. Next, how many of the following oxides are amphoteric? ఇది కామన్ గా అడుగుతూ ఉంటాడు. amphoteric oxides, ఆక్సిజన్ ఫ్యామిలీ రిలేటెడ్ లో ఎక్కువగా so many times దీని క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇది నార్మల్ గా సింగిల్ కరెక్ట్ లో అడగవచ్చు, మల్టీ కరెక్ట్ లో అడగవచ్చు, ఇంటీజర్. దే మే 4 ఆప్షన్స్ ఇచ్చేసి విచ్ ఈజ్ amphoteric అడగవచ్చు, ఆర్ లేకపోతే మల్టీ కరెక్ట్ లో కూడా అడగవచ్చు. అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ది 4 ఆప్షన్స్ హౌ మెనీ ఆర్ amphoteric, and like this integer. Anyhow, if you remember together amphoteric, you can write the answer very easily. Magnesium oxide, it is a basic. Chromium oxide, it is amphoteric. Calcium oxide, basic. Lead oxide, amphoteric. Cuprous oxide, again this is a basic, and it is a metal oxide, generally basic. And alumina is amphoteric, and lead, tin, they can form amphoteric oxides. And zinc oxide, again amphoteric. Beryllium also amphoteric. Gallium also amphoteric. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 oxides. 7 oxides, they are having amphoteric in nature. Next, find the value of x minus y plus z, and where x is the total number of lone pairs present in one S8 molecule. So S8 molecule, what is the structure? I think last class again we have discussed this. It is a crown shape or a kind of W shape. And here each sulfur, it is bonded with 2 other sulfur atoms, so it can carry 2 lone pairs. Each sulfur carries 2 lone pairs, means total 8 sulfurs are there. So here x is the total number of lone pairs. 8 into 2 should be 16. Next, y is the covalency of sulfur. What is the covalency? The combining capacity or number of bonds. How many bonds each sulfur can form? 2 bonds. So y equal to 2. Z is the total number of sulfur bonds. How many sulfur bonds are there? 8 sulfur atoms, so 8. So this is Z equal to 8. Then x minus y plus z. So these two are positive. This is a 10. 16 minus 10, you will get 6. So answer should be 6 here. And last question of this session. Ozone reacts with a dry iodine to form an oxide having x number of oxygen atoms in its molecule. What is the value of x here? In the last class we have discussed that. And ozone, if we treat with a dry iodine, what we will get? We will get an iodine oxide I4O9. So here number of oxygen atoms. One iodine oxide, how many oxygen atoms are there? 9 oxygens. So X equal to 9. 9 should be the answer. So one more, Nana. Instead of dry, if they ask moist iodine, this also we discuss. If they give same integer type question, they may ask you ozone when react with moist oxygen, it will give one iodic acid. What is the oxidation state or what is the hybridization? So many. Here you will get HiO3 hybridization or oxidation state or number of lone pairs present on HiO3 depends
Sir,
on
hybridization name అవుతుంది sir.
sp3 hybridization. sp3 hybridization and it has one lone pair. We have one lone pair. It is a pyramidal in geometry. These points you should remember. These are the few questions related to the 16th group oxygen family. Just you focus all these type of these models maximum enough. Okay, na?